With the storms that rolled through, did your flowers get a little beaten looking? Do they look kind of ratty and you're not quite sure, are they going to make it, or should you just call it a loss?
So that's the topic of the day, is recovering from a storm that popped up and maybe you didn't expect it. And I've gotten some messages of, hey, what do I do? Or even with the a storm coming in, like, hey, do you put your hanging baskets in, or what do you do? How do you prep for a storm? Well,
And sometimes those storms can be the wind
you don't
is
even
just
know.
enough to hurt them. You have a lot of rain, you might have hail. So all those factors, but what do you do after the storm?
Yeah, so the storm happened and now it's recovery time. So let's go through a few things of what you can do to get your flowers back on track. And they're probably gonna look like a drowned rat. So, what are some of the first things that you should do? Should you remove damaged material?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If it's damaged and it's cracked off, it's not going to magically repair itself like a broken bone.
Yeah.
So go ahead, take your snippers. Don't tear it out.
Yeah, don't just grab a hunk in.
Yeah, it's already had enough stress in life. So
You might be able to clean up, some of those blooms or whatever, and it's probably going to be wet. All of a sudden, you just maybe run your hands through there and get some of that dead foliage or the blossoms that are now spent. Getting that out of, especially like with petunias. But if there's cracked off stems, go through, snip those.
And it goes for geraniums. It goes for really any of your plants, not just your hanging baskets or petunias.
If you have super petunias though, I will say give those a chance. If you have after the storms come through and maybe the sun comes out and it looks like a nice day, see what happens, because sometimes it'll just come right back to life. We've seen, especially those super petunias, go through a lot. Wind, hail, where you think it's just damaging. I've seen these great big hanging baskets sideways with so much wind, and they just get rattled. But that next day or two, maybe within that 48 hours, and all of a sudden they just come right back. They might have to grow some blossoms, but the foliage and everything is there and is functional and it's healing itself. So
yeah, we're not talking about giving it a full haircut.
Yeah,
we're talking about taking off just the damaged portions of it.
Yeah, so if there's obvious damage, broken stems, get rid of those. Otherwise, maybe give it like 24, 48 hours and see what happens, if it's coming around, or if you can, no, those stems are definitely broke off. They're not drawing moisture. They're, go ahead and cut those down and get rid of them.
So the other thing is rain, because a lot of these storms have rain with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Like a pouring.
Yeah, check your baskets. And if they're, most of the time when you have that like damaging type of storm, they get a lot of water. And so you're gonna maybe have to just let them dry down. And you're gonna check it. So whether
that could take some time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but don't guess. Okay, do not guess. Do not be like, oh, it poured last night. It was torrential rains, and I'm sure I don't have to water. Check, because that can really surprise you. Those, especially with super petunias, they are like an umbrella, and they can just shed that rain right off, and you might be surprised. So please check and confirm that. Yes, they're waterlogged. No, they're bone dry. Even though we had 3 inches of rain, check, because that'll get you.
So if they are waterlogged, because if they're bone dry, we know what to do.
Yes.
But if they are waterlogged,
there is nothing you can do other than just let it take its course, get them to try to dry down naturally, and obviously you can't get in that routine of watering, that daily habit that you need to. You just have to let them dry down. And sometimes it just compounds. They're like, oh, there's another storm. And a lot of people are going through that you get one after another. And it's really hard. You just have to wait out that cycle. There's absolutely nothing you can do unless you can take and move those hanging baskets or those containers, if they're small enough that you can move them indoors or into a garage temporarily or somewhere. You're deep into a like a covered porch. But
I know we're not moving our pots.
We're not. Yeah, we have the 14-inch hanging baskets. They can run.
Once they're up, they're up.
Yeah. I mean, they're 50, 60 pounds, and I have to climb up on a ladder. So I climb up on a ladder, I put them there. They're there for the season. And then in, that October, November time, I take them down, and nothing in between. So yeah, we just let them be.
Something really important is if you have damage and you're having to snip off some branches, if you are waterlogged, when is the appropriate time? Because you do want to start fertilizing it to give it that nutrients to start kicking out the growth. But if it's waterlogged,
you can't.
You can't.
And again, it goes back into that when it's appropriate. We can't. You're just going to waste time and the fertilizer if you're trying to fertilize plants that are absolutely saturated. So there's nothing you can do other than wait for that cycle and let it just naturally dry down. And sometimes it takes some time, so be patient. But now, let's say we're getting everything dried down naturally and we want to go into recovery and we want to push some quick growth. So what can we do with that? I would say if that plant really needs to have that quick growth and get back on track, we're going to start fertilizing every other day with the Beat Your Neighbor fertilizer. You can do a full strength for a short period of time, and that I would define that as a week, maybe 2 weeks, if you really want to push that quick growth. Every other day, when appropriate. As far as, it rained again. Well, there's nothing you can do. But if you have a nice stretch of weather, and oftentimes you do after a storm, and nice sunny weather, I would start fertilizing every other day full strength with the Beat Your Neighbor fertilizer to push that quick growth and let's get us back on track. And you'll be amazed at how fast that actually happens.
Yeah. Don't just call it quits. Don't just throw your hands up in the air and say,
well, I guess my year's done.
The hail got it, or the storm, or take some corrective measures and give it a little bit of time to be able to recuperate, because they will. Plants are they want to survive.
Right.
They really want to survive.
So they are resilient, and you'll be surprised at what you can see a plant come back through.
And what are some signs that they should be looking for that it is coming back through that?
Well, I would say within that 24 to 48 hours, looking at the foliage and seeing is it shriveling or is it coming back to life? That's where you can tell of these stems actually have life in them, or no, they're broken and it's severed. They're not coming back. So within that 24 to 48 hours, see if they start coming back.
And even if you do have to trim it, you should be able to start seeing growth from where you cut it.
Mm-hmm.
So you should be able to start seeing that. Now, is it ever going to, if this whole side gets just blasted, it's gonna look weird for a little while.
It's gonna take a little bit of time, and our hanging baskets did have that. We had
They had like a bald spot right up in here.
It got wrecked just on one side because we had straight line winds.
It was pushing it, and it separated out everything, kind of cracked some stuff, and now they're starting to fill back in.
It's filling back in and going through, so it's it's fine. But again, in that 24 to 48 hours, you should be able to see some signs of life, and especially if you start fertilizing with a full dose of the Beat Your Neighbor fertilizer, you'll start. It has to repair itself. It has to form new buds, to form new flowers. So it does take some time for that recovery. So give it some time. Be diligent with that care. Don't be flippant with it. Like, this is the time that it needs diligent care. So if you're expecting a full recovery, then that care needs to be fully on your game.
Yep. So we're talking about the fertilizer, the Beat Your Neighbor fertilizer. If you're not familiar, first off, can you please hit the subscribe button or follow button? We'd really appreciate that. We'd really appreciate that. But if you're wondering where you get the Beat Your Neighbor fertilizer from, one of our newest retailers is out of Minnesota.
Yeah, so Vicky's Books and Blooms in Caledonia, Minnesota. So Vicky's Books and Blooms is a brand new.
And I was thinking it was books like I'm going to read a book.
Yeah.
It's not. It's bookkeeping. It's an accountant.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think that's great.
That's a brand new demographic that for a retailer is. She is a tax accountant, I guess.
Bookkeeping.
Yeah, bookkeeping.
Bookkeeping.
Yeah. That's awesome. So that is a new spot that you can find our Beat Your Neighbor fertilizer.
And that's in Caledonia, Minnesota.
Yes. So.
And if you aren't near that area, then you can go on the beatyourneighbor.com and you'll go down to the retailer locator button, and there is quite a few.
More daily. Yeah.
40
Yeah, we're
across the country.
Yeah, yes.
And that you can purchase the Beat Your Neighbor fertilizer from if you don't have one in your area. And please, please, please use the retailers. We really ask. That would be so helpful to them and us. But if you can't, then we can ship it to 48 states.
Yep. So you can see all that at beatyourneighbor.com, plus any other information that you want to know about the Beat Your Neighbor fertilizer.
It's all on there.
That is all there at the website at beatyourneighbor.com.
And then also on the Sharkeys Greenhouse YouTube channel,
Yes.
that you can find a ton of videos regarding the fertilizer, the watering,
Yes.
storms, all that stuff. We've done hundreds and hundreds of videos for you to be able to learn, and really we're trying
a
to
great
teach
resource.
you. Yeah, we're trying to teach you so that it not only helps you, and it helps our industry of the greenhouse industry, but nobody wants to kill their plants. I mean, nobody buys a plant and says, oh, I just want to have it so I can slowly watch it die and be frustrated.
Yeah.
So we're trying to help you be able to learn and take small little steps to be able to be better at being
Have a great
plant
experience.
parent.
Yeah, right. Right on. So, thank you for joining us.
Bye.
Bye-bye.